sikia hapa sawa. As you all know, the National Intelligence Service are responsible for getting us informations of the threats that we might face as Kenyans and as a country. So unaelewa hiyo kwanza. And let me tell you, Kenyans, we may be in trouble because NIS, or National Intelligence Service, warns Kenyans of terror strikes as Iran crisis spills into Nairobi protest. Wewe mwenyewe unajiuliza Iran na Kenya zinaingiana wapi? Sio? Okay, let's dive and look at what the National Intelligence Service, NIS or NIS, has issued as a warning and see how close we are to danger. As you know, we love the people of Kenya. Na lazima tulete what we see around the internet. NIS says that ongoing political protests in Nairobi may be infiltrated by radicalized terrorist groups seeking to strike Western targets and civilians in revenge for US-Israeli attacks on Iran. If you hear Western targets, in short, it means, or inamaanisha, Western embassies or military base in layman's terms, in short. Let's continue. They say, according to intercepted communications by Citizen TV journalists shared with top security organs and select diplomatic missions, details, or it says, an imminent asymmetric threat. Imminent asymmetric threat aimed at using the chaos of anti-government demonstrations set to mark the anniversary of last year's June 25th unrest as cover for terror attacks. Here is the chilling part. The chilling intelligence part is this. Listen very carefully. And I quote, our analysis, this is what they say, our analysis indicate that hostile actors are planning to use explosives and Molotov cocktails to target police officers and vulnerable areas, including diplomatic missions, operatives aligned with Iran or sympathetic to its cause, are preparing to embed within protest groups. Their objectives are to revenge strikes against US, Israeli, and allied interests. Kenya included because they are the allied interest. The country has since been placed on its highest security alert, with multi-agency teams operating around the clock to preempt threats and neutralize potential attackers. For example, hizo mahali yenye, you know, that's a very important. For example, airport, embassies, and public gathering spaces have received urgent reinforcements. The warning follows a dramatic escalation in Middle East tensions after US President Donald Trump authorized airstrikes on Iran's underground, known as Fordow nuclear facility. I don't know if I'm saying this correctly. Iran has vowed retaliation. Unajua retaliation? Revenge. And analysts around the world say that, skiza vizuri, the East African nations' close ties with both Washington and Tel Aviv put it at greater risk. The statement shared further said, Kenya is assessed as a soft target precisely because of our strategic alliances. Skiza, there is something called the Norfolk bombing in 1980. It taught us that foreign conflicts can spill blood on our own soil. Let's look at the Norfolk hotel bombing. The Norfolk hotel bombing, which killed 15 Kenyans, was a direct reprisal for Kenyans' support of Israel during the Entebbe rescue mission. Today, the NIS believes Kenya could once again be collateral damage in a global geopolitical war. I hope you captured that na umeelewa vizuri. Intelligence sources warn that Iran, unlikely to confront the US-Israel or Israel in conventional warfare, may rely on proxies and sleeper cells on approach echoed by the likes of Al-Shabaab in Kenya's past. Authorities are now conducting covert sweeps in major cities, tracking digital footprints and coordinating with international cyber and intelligence agencies to thwart any coordinated attack. Police and intelligence agencies have also been briefed on the threat of cyber attacks targeting national infrastructure. NIS, or National Intelligence Service, or NIS as you might call it, for those that don't understand, continue to address the issue and further says in the statement, this is very important, Skiliza, we are urging law enforcement to adopt a full counter-terrorism posture. These are not just political rallies anymore. Inamaanisha, like for example, hii 25th June protest that's happening today. Umeelewa hapo? These are not just political rallies anymore. na NIS inasema hivyo, they are potential operational zones. Umeelewa? Ati hizi protest inaweza kuwa potential operational zones. But as Kenyans, we might think this is a joke. Meanwhile, let's look at the geopolitical storm that is already hitting global markets. Brent crude has surged to 78.89 a barrel. For those of you that don't know what a barrel is, let me enlighten you because it is important. A barrel of oil is a standard unit of volume used in the oil and gas industry, equivalent to 42 US gallons, approximately 159 liters. This unit is used to measure crude oil and petroleum products. While the term barrel can refer to different sizes in other contexts, in the oil industry, it specifically refers to 42 gallons. For those of you that don't know what a gallon is, let me enlighten you again. A gallon of oil refers to a volume measurement, specifically 3.79 liters in the US system, or 4.54 liters in the imperial system. It is commonly used to measure quantities of various types of oil, such as motor oil, cooking oil, or even crude oil. Now, let's come back to the Brent crude that has surged to 78.89 a barrel amid the threats from Tehran to choke the Strait of Hormuz, a move that could decimate global supply chains and send Kenya's economy into a tailspin. Iran's parliament has backed a measure to shut the strait through Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei has yet to authorize it, by the way. Over 200,000 Kenyans working in the Gulf may also be caught in the crossfire if regional tensions escalate. With the history and geographic working against it, Kenya is once again walking on a tightrope between domestic political unrest and international conflict. Domestic political unrest ni kama hii, all this. I don't know, even though I like using big words, sometimes I try to explain in the best way possible so that you as the viewer understand what is going on. And let me just hope you have understood. With that much being said, before I show you some videos that I gathered from the internet to enlighten more on the situation that we just discussed, don't forget to be a part of the family and subscribe to this channel so that you become the first person to get the videos that I post as well. Don't forget to comment down below what you think about this new information that NIS, or National Intelligence Service, or NIS as you might call it, has brought to light. With that much being said, let's watch some people's opinions.
Wajama, ni kama noma ya Israel na Iran imetufikia wajasti. Mimi nakwambia ni bulanda. Ama inaweza kuwa ni mchezo wa town ndio wajasti wasingie kesho protest. Lakini either way iko hivi. Wasawa na NIS wametoa report wakisema ati wajasti wenye wako allied na Iran, wenye ni terrorist, au wajasti wanaweza kainterfere na protest yetu kesho. Watumie advantage kwa attack my installations za US hapa Kanairo wajasti. Mimi nakwambia, so hawa sawa NIS wanasemaje wajasti tuko rada. Jole man wanaweza kama waamua kuharibu protest yetu. Nakwambia ni bulanda. Mimi niliwaambia ino Iran tutaingizwa mjasi, lakini pia wezi juenza kwa ni mchezo wa town ndio watu wajaenjeve kesho wasingie maeria. Ni bulanda, mimi nawaambia ni bulanda.
Guys, there is a breaking news, and this one is one of the sweetest news that I have given in the last week. President Trump announced Monday that Israel and Iran have agreed on complete and total ceasefire, a move he said would end a more than a week-long conflict between the two countries. The ceasefire will start in about 6 hours, and after 12 hours, the war will be considered ended. Mr. Trump ameandika wrote that on a Truth Social, indicating that ceasefire would begin at midnight. That is, let us read his official statement. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire. And upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the word, the president said. So it is now officially that it is over. These are breaking news. These are good news because tension was high. People are wondering now what next. So many people in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, all those countries, they were worried now, where is our faith? But I have a breaking massive news. This is one of the best news that I have given in the last 12 days, that the ceasefire, total ceasefire, has been reached between Iran and Israel. So you can sleep in peace, considering that everything now is okay.